All right, folks, today is Friday. It is June 7th, 2019. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, that trifling, no good for nothing Linda Fairstein, the woman who was behind the Central Park 5 going to jail. Guess what? Dropped today by her publisher. Damn good reason. Also, the Women Grow Leadership Summit started in D.C. today. We'll talk to the president and CEO about black women in the cannabis industry. Also, Congressman Mark Vesey has a plan to honor the 320th Battalion, the black troop that helped defeat Hitler on D-Day. Also, we'll talk with the mother of Tamir Rice as Cleveland, they are trying to rehire the cop who murdered her son, Tamir Rice. She'll join us. She says it is time to put a stop to this nonsense. Also, speaking of nonsense, in North Carolina, Reverend William Barber convicted of trespassing at the 2017 General Assembly protest. Right. How can a man be caught trespassing, but it was the First Amendment? Wait till you hear what his response is. Plus, Taraji P. Henson, she was in D.C. today on Capitol Hill talking about black youth suicide. We'll have some of that. And also, honoring the first African-American to win a PGA-sanctioned tournament, Pete Brown. It's taking place in Oklahoma. All right, folks, it's time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the miss, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the fine. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. Yeah, it's Uncle Roro, y'all. Yeah, it's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now. Martin.
Oh, the hits keep on coming for Linda Fairstein. She's the woman who was behind the conviction of the Central Park 5. Remember, she resigned from 2 boards, including Vassar College. Well, today her publisher dropped her. All of this after the Netflix drama series When They See Us debuted last Friday. And so here we are a week later. Public pressure has been building against her. Of course, Raymond Santana, as well as Yusef Salaam, they've been leading a petition to get her dropped. They also want Amazon not to sell her books. More than 50,000 folks have signed that petition on change.org. And so now she loses her publishing deal. The hashtag cancel Linda Fairstein, this movement has been spreading on social media. Remember, also by Monday, after she got lit up by many of us over the weekend, she canceled all of her social media accounts. Now, and also the Mystery Writers of America withdrew their Lifetime Achievement honor for her, as well as Glamour magazine, and other authors protested. And so none of this could happen to a nastier person. So glad to see it. So Linda, we hope your ass go broke for what you did to the Central Park 5. All right, folks, let's talk about our next story. Today's the beginning of the 2019 Women Grow Leadership Summit taking place here in Washington, D.C. This is the 6th year in a row they've held this. It's the largest professional network that connects, educates, and empowers female leaders in the cannabis industry. Here to talk about why this is so critically important, Gia Moran, president of the Women Grow Leadership Summit, and CEO, Dr. Shonda, is it Macias? Macias. All right, here we go. So let's get right to it. First of all, how did this start? How did y'all get involved in the cannabis industry? And were y'all users or you entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurs. Yep, definitely. I'll start it off.
Yeah.
So I did my research at Howard University. I studied prostate cancer, metastasis to bone. So when I was actually researching it, we found that cannabis had some medicinal benefits. But because I went to a HBCU, they were like, oh, if you study this, you're going to go to prison. And I was
Smart
like,
Lyric said that?
Oh, yeah. We already know how the impact on the war on drugs impacted the black community. So it's not like it's hidden. It created a pipeline to prison. And therefore, our community is still not embracing that narrative. But there's people making billions in this industry.
White people. No, see, we're specific on this show.
Yes, okay, and we're not a part of that. So us creating the platform at Women Grow is to actually show that there are Black women that are now bringing awareness that you can engage in this industry.
So for me, I'm coming from a financial services background, and so I had practices.
For everybody at home, that means get paid. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I worked on Wall Street for 15 years. How's that? Is that plain enough?
There you go. That's right.
But for that matter, I, worked over the years watching channels like CNBC and Bloomberg, watching the financial markets. And so when I began to see cannabis coverage happening on CNBC and Bloomberg and not seeing any reflections of my community, that was a call to action for me. So I recognized early on, especially having worked in financial services, to look at the trends and outlooks. And I've often seen what trends and outlooks do to our community. They move ahead while we stay behind. And so one of my goals was to make sure that not only did I become a part of this, but that we brought other people from our communities into this industry to show what the opportunities were.
So I think the mistake that often happens, and so this always happens, I think, for a lot of us, and that is we deal with the social justice part first, and we deal with money last. So I'll unpack that. I had a conversation with another company, and they're actually one of our sponsors, and we were having a discussion about some different events, and they wanted to talk about expungement. I was like, let the folks who do expungement talk about expungement. I said, somebody has to specifically talk about the money part. Because I think what happens all too often for African Americans, we want to deal with the criminal justice part, the social justice part, which I totally understand, as opposed to say, okay, for the folks who do that, let them do that, but somebody has to explicitly talk about what this means financially for us and what we must be focusing on financially. And that, to me, I think, is what we always have to be thinking about, not just always how we were impacted by folks who were arrested, who are still in jail. There are people who do that, but somebody has to say, no, this is about us getting paid off of an industry where others are making billions when we actually have already paid the price in another way.
So you're just preaching to the choir. There's less than 4% ownership of African Americans in the cannabis industry today, when there's thousands of plant-touching businesses. And so this is what we're trying to address, is that the cannabis industry is moving so fast that if we pause and stop, we'll be left behind. Instead, we need to work simultaneously with what, social justice reform, but also think about businesses in cannabis.
And there's no reason why that we can't work together as a collective, working towards the same thing, but we're all on assignment. We use the skill sets and the talents that we have, and we apply it to those areas of which we are most passionate about. So Dr. Shonda is passionate about the medicine and the plant and her patients. She's also very passionate about business. But it's very important that we divide, I don't want to say and conquer, but we divide and become more successful in this space versus bridging together just in one space. We need to play the field in this industry.
And we talk about, again, what's happening. We know obviously California was happening in Colorado, but then, of course, here in D.C. But also, I think black state legislators are now also getting smart about it. The reason they are holding it up in New Jersey and New York, because the black folks are saying, no. We are not supporting this unless we guarantee black folks are getting their fair share. That was the issue in Maryland, where they moved ahead but did not ensure that we were a part of that. And so you only had one or two African Americans with dispensaries in Maryland. And so the last thing we can have is, again, us greatly impacted on the criminal justice side, and then again left out on the economic side.
Well, I agree with you on that, and I can attest that I'm a New Yorker myself and very much a part of the coalition in New York that's working towards adult legalization and making sure that our communities that have been most impacted are very much included in this bill, and that we're not left behind, and that equity starts from day one.
Well, and I'm going to chime in there because the true issues is that, you know, in our New York platform, we went to Emmanuel Baptist Church and we were able to stand in the pulpit and talk about the medicinal benefits of cannabis. But, you know, truthfully, the church has been our pushback as well. Very conservative. We've been able to make it through certain of those platforms. But when we go back into our community, since we've been plagued so much and our community has been in prison, that they don't want to have this conversation. They don't want to have to discuss the implications, whether it's about money or if it's about health care. So these are the challenges we face just in our communities, period.
Well, but again, I think it all goes back to education. And at the end of the day, when you don't know, you don't know. And so if you, I mean, look, I don't care who you are. If you've grown up multi-generations, and when you hear marijuana, when you hear weed, you think of folks who are getting high, won't have the munchies. You think of people who are breaking the law. I mean, you have all of those stereotypes that go along with it. And so now all of a sudden you're shifting from what is illegal to now what is legal, and then now what is commerce. And yes, it's a different conversation, which is why I think you have to have various platforms that are talking about this here. And also, I think it's important to walk folks through to get them to understand that the barriers to entry have also been lowered. And that is, what are the available opportunities? We had a couple of years ago, we interviewed Montel Williams. We talked about he has a couple of publicly traded companies, and we talked about that. And so his whole deal was like, look, this is not where, okay, you need $25,000 to be able to get into this. He's like, look, here's a publicly traded stock where you can be able to access. And again, it's just to me, it's this constant state of education, because so many of us simply don't know, because that's just not what we do.
And that's the platform we have at Women Grow. We educate. How
many folks you have there?
So today we had over 600 participants, and we were really excited about that. But with the challenges of even educating the population, we can't advertise for the event. Facebook will shut us down.
Hold on. I'm sorry, why?
Because it's a legal substance. We cannot advertise even an educational event.
Illegal still.
Yes.
Okay, what do you mean you can't advertise? You can't say...
Facebook has a ban against, even if you're licensed or not even touching the plant, we cannot advertise on Facebook.
Okay, you couldn't even advertise saying you're having a summit?
No.
And going a step further and explaining that this is a women's conference and that we promote entrepreneurship and women in business, and that our goal is to get more women into the cannabis industry, and our advertisements and promotions were continuously shut down.
Really? Only on Facebook?
No, Instagram will delete your page.
Well, Facebook owns Instagram.
Well,
Oh,
yes.
right.
So that's our challenges. And a lot of...
So how do you get around that?
Grassroots campaign, talking to you, bringing awareness in any way we can. And so that's where the movement is. And that's why the education hasn't gotten out. We're stunned by the federal government.
That's real interesting there in terms of those platforms. And so if that's the case, have you had the same issues on radio?
We don't get all the opportunities that we could get because this is still very conservative and a muted point.
No, what I'm saying is, but can you do, I mean...
Oh, radio ads?
No radio ads,
No.
but we can go on.
Radio interviews.
Yes, we can
That's
do
what I'm
radio
saying.
interviews.
Yeah.
Yes,
Got
absolutely.
it.
So what Sean is explaining is that in terms of advertisement, so beyond social media, even print advertisement, we can advertise in our industry trades, but when you look at mainstream media, very rarely do you see cannabis advertisement. Now, in terms of large conferences, I have seen billboards, but those are more regional as versus national exposure. So it continues to be grassroots, and you really do need to be within the industry to know what's happening, which, pivoting to your point earlier, in order for our communities to know, they have to be in the know, right? And so if they're not connected to our industry, how are they going to know about conferences like Women Grow or any of the other industry events? So these opportunities are important for us to get the message out.
So your conference is the same time each year, and so how could folks get more information about your organization?
So you can go to our website, womengrow.com. We have a Facebook page. We can't boost it, but we have gentle posts about being in business and entrepreneurship.
You have gentle posts.
Gentle posts.
Okay, I haven't heard that one. They have a gentle post. Y'all know I don't do gentle posts. I don't do those.
But yeah, so you can find us about Women Grow on our website, our social media handles, and then there are cannabis magazines that will support us.
And, you know, to Dr. Shonda's point is that what's interesting about that is that our reach on social media is over 2.5 million, right? And so people are
You say our reach, meaning your organization.
Yes.
Our organization, that's correct. And what's interesting is even looking at our conference today, the number of newcomers, people who are interested whether to starting a business or transitioning their careers and just becoming, you know, applying their skill sets to jobs within the industry. So the fact that we have a reach of over 2 million, the fact that more than half of our attendees are brand new to the cannabis industry speaks volumes to us.
Cool, cool. Are you live streaming any of your events this weekend?
Some of them we are. So tomorrow we'll have a series of panels.
On what platform?
On womengrow.com.
Okay. Oh, right to the right, but.
So actually, we're not able to boost, but if you follow us on social media at Women Grow, you will see that we're doing Facebook Lives, right? So Facebook hasn't shut that down. Twitter
Right. So I'm saying,
hasn't shut that
so
down.
you're going to be part of the conference. You're streaming on Facebook Live.
Yes, segments of it. Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Got it. All right. Cool. All right. Well, groovy. We certainly appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
And good luck for the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
We hope
Appreciate
you'll
it.
come one day.
Huh?
Will you come and visit us one day?
Yeah, no big deal. All right. No. Unfortunately, I got to go tomorrow. I have to go to North Carolina. Reverend William Barber's mom is retiring 53 years. And so he leaned on the Alpha Shield to get me to come to the woods of North Carolina. So I will be there tomorrow, leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. So otherwise, I definitely would drive by.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you.
cool. All right, going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Tamir Rice. His mom does not want the cop who killed her son hired by the Cleveland Police Department. Why do they want him back on the force? Next, to Roland Martin Unfiltered. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. Hey, folks, they're back. MarijuanaStock.org has another great investment opportunity. If you were lucky enough to invest in their last crowdfunding campaign, you know they raised a lot of money in just a few months investing in legal marijuana farms. Those initial investors now own shares of a publicly traded company. They're on fire. And certainly a lot of you missed it. Now you have an opportunity. Now they have a new investment opportunity that is as good, if not even better, than the last. I'm talking about industrial hemp CBD. For those who don't know, the hemp plant is the cousin to marijuana with a much higher concentration of CBD, which means hemp CBD gives you all the medical benefits of marijuana without getting you high. Now, until recently, hemp farming was practically illegal in the U.S. and heavily regulated by the DEA. However, the 2018 Farm Bill changed all of that. Congress made it legal to grow hemp CBD in the U.S. and creating one of the largest commodities worldwide. They need land to grow all of the plants, and this makes for an incredible investment opportunity. And that's where our good friends at 420 Real Estate come in. Their business model is simple. They buy land that supports hemp CBD grow operations and lease it to licensed, high-paying tenants. That's right, they are hemp CBD landlords. You can get in on the action. You can invest in this crowdfunding campaign for as little as $200 up to $10,000. Like I said, you don't want to miss out. To invest, go to marijuanastock.org. That's marijuanastock.org. Get in the game and do it now. All right, folks, Texas Congressman Mark Veazey wants to make sure America doesn't forget the 320th Battalion on Memorial Day. Here's what he said recently on the floor of the U.S. House.
And I want to take a minute today to thank those African-American soldiers during World War II that fought for valor and sacrifice in our country. You may have not heard of the 320th Battalion, but on the morning of June 6, 1944, the unit of African-American soldiers landed on the beaches of France. Their orders were to man a curtain of armed balloons meant to deter enemy. They flew at an altitude at about 200 feet to defend soldiers landing on the beaches against strafing by German aircraft. The battalion served 140 days in France. One member of the 320th wounded in battle, Waverly B. Woodson, Jr., would later be nominated for the Medal of Honor, an award he would never receive. The nation's highest decorations was not given to African-American soldiers in World War II. Members of the 320th, the 1st African-American Battalion, included hundreds of soldiers, were sent abroad to fight for liberties denied to them at home. The story of the 320th Battalion is a narrative of perseverance in the face of injustice.
All right, folks. Again, we certainly hope to see them honored with that. All right, folks. Tamir Rice was shot and killed by police officer Timothy Loman in 2014 in Cleveland, Ohio. Loman and his partner got a call saying a black male keeps pulling a gun out of his pants and pointing it at people. The caller also told them several times that it was a child and it was a fake gun. Tamir, of course, was playing with his sister at the Coudale Recreation Center, a park in the city of Cleveland's Public Works Department. Loman had been fired and reinstated before he killed Tamir. And, folks, now the police union is trying to get another job for him. Joining me on the phone to talk about what's going on is the mother of Tamir Rice, Samaria Rice. Samaria, welcome back. Welcome to Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Yes. Hi, Roland. How are you? Nice to talk to you again since we were at the Maxwell concert.
Absolutely. Yes. Good to chat with you. So yes. the union is trying. So Loman gets fired, and they're trying to get his job back?
Yeah. So the president of the police union, Jeff Farmer, he has assisted Timothy Loman with the appeal process to get his job back. The arbitration told him no, but he appealed it, and now we're just waiting to hear from a common pleas judge.
So
we're just waiting to hear if he's going to say yay or nay.
So what are you doing? How are you galvanizing folks to put pressure for Loman not to get rehired?
So I teamed up with Move On and Change.org, and together we created a petition, and the petition basically says that, I don't want Loman to get his job back, and please support this. And we galvanized over, maybe almost up to like 200,000. But when I did my press conference this past Monday, I was only able to drop off 170,000 petitions to the president of the police union, the CPPA. So I did a press conference in Cleveland, and I dropped off 5 boxes. And at that time, it was 170,000, like I said. But right now, we could be well over 200,000 signatures because the petition is actually still going on Move On and Change.org. Yes, so I'm just grateful and happy that people support this and, want this just as bad as I do. I'm just happy about it. I'm overwhelmed. I'm ecstatic that, I have all of this support, that Tamir has all of this support, and that's what we've been doing. And on our Facebook and Instagram page, Tamir Rice Foundation, we put a picture of Jeff up there with his 2 phone numbers to call in to say, stop your efforts in trying to get Timothy Loman rehired. So we've been applying pressure. I'm just hoping that it's going to work for the folks in here in Cleveland. Cleveland is very, the dynamics is very unique. Again, a lot of my support comes from the outside, so we're going to see.
Is the city officially opposing his hiring?
If they are, they're not on board with me. I have some support, like a couple city councils. So we have 17 city council. I believe only 2 jumped on board in support with me. Some of the Unitarian churches had jumped on board with me. Some of the local organizations have jumped on with me, but as far as the mayor, the chief of police, they have not said anything to me as far as support or anything like that. I tried to even get the support of the president of the council. He hasn't even jumped on board with supporting me. The commission, I asked them to support me. I believe maybe one or two supported me from the commission that was formed on behalf of the consent decree being here. So, and it's 13 commissions. Jeff Former, he's actually a part of the commission, and I asked him to resign because he cannot play both sides of the fence when it comes to trying to be a part of a commission that's supposed to be reforming police officers, and he's steady trying to help this officer get his job back. So I have actually asked him to resign from his position of being on the commission. Like I said, it sits 13 people. And he's one of the people, and he just don't need to be on there if he's, trying to advocate for a police officer to get his job back, knowing that he's a murderer. And they're trying to give him his job back based on he lied on his application, just to give people an update.
Samara, when will the judge make a decision?
We're still waiting to hear. I have put a call out to some folks to see if I can get an answer, hopefully soon. We're just waiting to hear. The common pleas judge, it's in their hands now, so I don't know. It's been going on like 3 or 4 months now since we heard about the appeal, so I don't know.
All right, then. Tamir Rice, we appreciate it. We'll surely keep following this through its conclusion. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, Roland.
All right, I want to introduce my panel. Dr. Rashawn Ray, Associate Professor of Sociology, University of Maryland. Dr. Dion B. Carter, Department of Political Science, Howard University. Dr. Cleo Monago, Socio-Political Analyst and Activist. Folks, this is no shock here. I mean, police unions, look, they are there for fight for these jobs. They don't give a damn that a 12-year-old black kid was killed. They know what this cop did was flat out wrong, but they're going to make excuse after excuse to bring him back on the force.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about this particular incident, I think it becomes important to put it in a broader context. The fact that African-American teenagers are 16 times more likely to be killed by police officers than white teenagers. And just in general, African-Americans are 3.5 times more likely to be killed by whites when they're not attacking, nor when they have a weapon. And so we have to put this in context. The other thing is I think it's important, and this is what I love about what Mrs. Rice is doing, is we have to end up taking power back. We actually pay their salaries as taxpayers. So when we think about that $6 million that was paid out to the family, which it isn't even enough, but that money is coming from taxpayer money. Instead, that money should be coming actually from police department insurances. They should be coming actually maybe even from a portion from FOP dues. And part of what happens is what Cleveland Police Department and the FOP are doing is they are actually continuing to play up the bad apple narrative that exists. This particular officer should not be working anywhere, and all parents should be afraid if he's working anywhere near where their children are.
Absolutely, and I think the thing that we're also missing is that Officer Lohman was deemed to be inadequate for service before he took the job when he murdered Tamir Rice. So he is known to be a problem in the field, and absolutely we should expect other things like this to happen with this officer because he is ill-trained and he is ill-suited for this job before this murder occurred. So if the police officer actually cared about him and the safety of the public, they wouldn't have allowed him to be on the street in the first place. But they allowed it, and now they're going to continue to support him, I guess, under this false claim that he is been found not guilty of anything, right, that he is fit for duty, but this man is absolutely unfit for the job of protecting the public, and he absolutely represents a real danger. Unfortunately, a danger that has the full endorsement of the police union and the state to do whatever to the public. So I think this is not just a matter of this guy shouldn't have a job because of this bad act. This guy shouldn't have had a job to begin with.
It's really interesting also, Cleo, when you look at what happened today. The former Minneapolis cop who killed Justine Diamond got 12.5 years in prison, a Muslim cop. Many of us said the moment we saw who this was, we were like, oh, that brother, he ain't getting no support from the union. And the reality is he didn't. Now, there are those of us who believe that police officers who commit wrongdoing certainly should go to prison, but it's very telling how the black cop went to jail for 12 and a half years, and even the payment that was made to her family was much larger than what we normally see in any of these cases. White woman who was killed. And here you have this white cop who kills Tamir Rice, and they're fighting to get his job back.
Sure, of course, it's very telling in terms of how black people are treated even when they're cops. But what concerns me, going back to Ohio, to Cleveland, is that a lot of the people who are not coming to this sister's support are black. A lot of people who are part of the city government of Cleveland, and on the city council, and the police department, who are fighting for this murderer, are black people. And what that raises to mind for me is the impact of whiteness on black people over the years, and how we've been trained, whether it's conscious or unconscious, to accommodate them, even in the face of the murder of a child that was not even a teenager yet. And I think that unconscious internalized white supremacy short circuits our capacity as black people to care about ourselves, or to be apprehensive to care about ourselves in the presence of whites because we don't want to offend them. Sometimes we're more concerned about them than we are about ourselves. And that's a problem.
Well, again, it's real interesting. Again, the case of the gentleman, the former cop in Minneapolis, as I said. In fact, he was a 2-year officer on the force, Muhammad Noor. And this is what he said in a courtroom hearing. Go to my iPad. An emotional. He said, "I knew in an instant I was wrong." He also apologized for taking the life of a perfect person. Remember, she was an unarmed Australian woman who was walking towards his car. And he was convicted. He was convicted in 2017, but the sentencing just took place today there in Minneapolis. All right, folks, let's talk about North Carolina, where civil rights leader Reverend William Barber was convicted on Thursday. Forget this, trespassing, stemming from his 2017 protest at the North Carolina General Assembly. Now, the crazy thing is they had barred Reverend Barber from protesting. They were there protesting health care. And the Republicans in that state barred him and others. It was him, I think about 46 others, who had gotten arrested saying, oh, they're trespassing if they come back. Well, they actually believe in the First Amendment. And so they came back to protest, and then they had them arrested. Then he was convicted. The judge pretty much was like, why in the hell are we doing this? And so gave him 24 hours of community service, which he kind of does every day, and gave him that as well, suspended this 12 months of unsupervised probation as well. But here's what Reverend Barber had to say after the conviction.
I want to say this is much bigger than me. This is literally about opening up Southern legislatures to the light of day and to the people's voice and to the people's protest. I'm deeply concerned that the jury was boxed in. They did not get a chance to really hear about our Constitution, which is a strange consideration to me, that the Constitution that governs the legislature. We know that the legislature we have now is an unconstitutionally constituted body. We know that while this was going on and wasted tax dollars, 500,000 people still don't have health care. People are dying. People that are living with diseases that they could be treated for. But more importantly is we're going to appeal.
It took jurors 22 minutes to find Barber guilty after 4 days of testimony that included video footage of his call and response chant protesting health care spending outside of the office of Senator Phil Berger. First of all, Republicans in North Carolina, I keep telling people, are just stuck on stupid Niambi. And but again, what they're angry about, they're angry about Moral Mondays. They're angry about how they were able to mobilize and organize people to have constant pressure against them. And they want to use the law to shut down protesters. And as Dr. Barber's lawyer said, he's like, he ain't worried. Dr. King had a criminal record.
Absolutely, and this is what he's been doing for almost a decade now, right? This Moral Monday protest has probably been the biggest thorn in the side of the North Carolina state legislature. He has not let these people off the hook, not one iota, not about poverty, jobs, environment, healthcare, you name it. But this was just about sending a message. And I think they picked the wrong one this day, because Reverend Barber and those who he is organizing with and who he is rounding up around the state and around this nation are not going to be quieted. I mean, because part of the issue is the state legislature allegedly works for the people of the state of North Carolina and in their best interest. So this is a moment where you have a state law which is in violation of the U.S. Constitution and the rights granted to citizens. And so this should not have occurred. And these people were in no danger. They just were made uncomfortable. They didn't want to have to be accountable to the citizens, and they didn't want to be confronted. That's all this was about. He made too much noise and he disrupted their day. How?
It's hilarious, Cleo, literally to say you're mad that citizens, taxpayers, were there protesting. So therefore, they're trespassing on property they pay for.
Absolutely.
Well, we know how incompetent these people are when it comes to mental health. We know how irrational they are, and we know how focused they are. It didn't matter that the doctor was not breaking any laws, doing anything wrong. They want to silence him. Like you mentioned, I mean, he's been powerful, he's been consistent, he's been in their face, he's been articulate, he's been breaking down issues based on fact, and he has a multicultural group of people behind him, so they can't simply call it a black thing, though it's a black man heading it up. He's brought together all kinds of people, so of course they want to silence him, and they thought they did for 2 minutes. Was it 2 minutes, 3 minutes? How long was it?
22 minutes.
22 minutes.
That's how long it took them to convict.
Right.
It amazes me how weak Republicans are. They love calling people snowflakes. No, they're soft.
Yeah, I mean, I think about who gets the right to enact the First Amendment or even the Second Amendment. I mean, and essentially what we're talking about is a lack of transparency. Once again, we see another issue where taxpayers pay the money to put these people in office to do things for them. And so part of what's happening is, first, we need the law to be changed. I think, second, it speaks to the fact that taxpayers should demand this particular type of transparency. And then third, we see the way that race in particular mutes people's ability to fully enact the First Amendment. And it's highly, highly problematic.
And again, when you look at the actions, let's talk about what happened in Syracuse, where a police officer, Chris Busky, arrested, y'all, this is a trip, arrested Shaolin Moore for playing loud music. Now, remember, we've heard this before. Remember, Jordan Davis was shot and killed by a white man in Florida for playing loud music. That white man is in prison for life. Jordan Davis's mama is now Congresswoman Lucy McBath. But we're going to play the video for y'all of this cop acting a fool because of loud music.
Take it as a form of arrest.
Hey, he's telling the truth, man. If you got nothing on you, get out of the car.
I don't got nothing on me, but get the fuck out of the car. I was getting sprayed.
Why he doing all that? Why he doing all that? Why he doing all that? He not resisting or nothing. Why he doing all that? Why he doing all that? Yo, why you punching my man?
Hey, what's the deal with this guy?
Yup, I'm on you. I ain't.
Fucking move.
Look, they bugging for nothing. Look.
Don't you move.
I ain't resisting or nothing.
Shut it down.
What's going on? Why y'all doing all that? Why y'all doing all that? Why y'all putting me in handcuffs and stuff?
Yeah, now here's what's crazy. So Moore was pulled out of his vehicle because the cop wanted to search the vehicle. And he said no. So then the cop pulled him out. So now we get to search vehicles because the music too loud?
But proceeding,
wait, what are you looking for? An iPod?
But preceding that, he was so disrespectful and dehumanizing and treating him like and beating. This goes beyond these issues. There's some white people who are really, really angry in this society about the presence of black people. And black people are being killed and harassed and murdered and traumatized because these people have issues. We need to look at how people get to treat people as well. Not just shoot them, which is, of course, horrible, but that all this cussing, and these are grown people they're talking to like this.
But this is, I mean, and again, the young man did what he was supposed to do, which is, no, you don't get the right to search my vehicle. That is a violation of his Fourth Amendment rights. And I tell anybody, do not let them make them get a warrant. But in more than that, these noise ordinances are about policing black people, whether it's Reverend Barber in North Carolina saying he's making too much noise or he's playing his music too loud. Because remember, there was a woman in Garner, North Carolina, who had her family pulled out of the house because she was playing Malcolm X speeches at a tone and at a volume that her neighbors didn't appreciate. And this is like 8 officers show up at her house. So there's all of these efforts to police black people just being in the world.
So let me read this statement from Syracuse Police Chief Kenton Bucker. Here we go to my iPad. Consistent with the Syracuse Police Department use of force protocol, the incident that occurred on Grace and Oswego Streets on Friday night was immediately reported to the department following the incident. The case was already under review before the video was posted online. I recognize the concerns that have been raised by the community, and I want to ensure the community that under department protocol, when officers use force, including this time, we complete a thorough investigation. The vehicle was pulled over because of a violation of the city's sound reproduction ordinance, a quality of life issue frequently reported to the department for action. Importantly, it occurred immediately following a coordinated police response to Skiddy Park, where individuals were involved in the sale of illegal substances and an unlawfully possessed handgun was recovered. Officers heard the noise from the vehicle as they were concluding the drug and weapons investigation at the park. The vehicle was stopped a few blocks from the park. I want y'all to put a pin in that because I want you to remember that. I'm going to come back to that. The incident is under active review, which will occur on a timely basis. The officers continue to be in service and will be interviewed as part of the review. Let me unpack that. This is the cute job cops always play. So here you have the police chief talking about where the officers came from. At no point in this does it say that Shaolin Moore and the guy riding with him were selling drugs. But he is trying to link the two together. Okay, for instance, go back to my iPad, where individuals were involved in the sale of illegal substances and an unlawfully possessed handgun was recovered. There's no need to link those two if Moore and his friend were actually not in the park. This is the police chief trying to connect drug sales and a legal possession of a handgun with this arrest by saying, oh, and I love this here. The car officers heard the noise from the vehicle as they were concluding. The vehicle was stopped a few blocks from the park. So why in the hell are we discussing the park? If the vehicle was stopped a few blocks from the park, why are we discussing the park? That's the game they play by trying to connect black folks to drug selling as well as an illegal handgun. That's what's going on here.
I mean, without a doubt. I mean, there is a New York City study that looked at 700,000 traffic stops, or actually just people kind of being stopped and frisked. And what it found was that African Americans were significantly more likely to be stopped relative to whites, but blacks were actually less likely to have something on them. How successful were officers in predicting whether or not someone would have something? They were only 2% successful. So this particular incident plays a role in that. The other thing I think about is being pulled over as a teenager with my windows rolled down and my music playing, and I got pulled over by an officer. I think about my wife who was pulled over after leaving the hospital, taking care of babies, taking care of sick people, and she got pulled over for her music. The ironic thing is that her speakers were actually blown out. So see, part of this is simply a cover in order to be able to pull people over. I think the other thing is it relates to community oversight committees. Everyone wants community oversight committees. The problem with those, though, is that we actually need a person from those community oversight committees to actually be on the actual review board in the police department. So the one thing that stood out to me, in addition to what you highlighted, Roland, was the fact that the chief said that this is under review. Yes, it's under review internally by police officers actually aiming to police and hold other police officers accountable. What we need is for people from the community review board to not review these cases after there's already a decision made, but they actually need to weigh in on these as a voting party on the actual committee in the police department. And I think part of this is people have to continue to record these particular incidents. I mean, in this regard, we're simply in MLK's collection of facts, right? We're just in the first step of the nonviolent campaign.
Well,
in this
first of all,
movement for
here's
Black
the other
lives.
piece, though. What did the passenger do?
Nothing. And honestly,
So he's under arrest?
Yes.
Because he said, stop recording.
Because he's a witness to what's happening. Honestly, what you read from that police officer, that chief of police, actually is very reminiscent of stories they used to tell about black men after they lynched him. This sounded like the setup to a murder to me.
Right.
Because dead men
right.
tell no tales. So they were already deciding what the story was going to be, which these young men were at this park, were selling drugs, and therefore they are criminals and they deserve to be mistreated, mishandled, and anything else that came after that. I'm just glad that these young men get to go home tonight.
Now y'all understand why black people got mental health issues. We talked
Absolutely.
about that yesterday with the head of the Black Mental Health Alliance about the rise in suicide rates among black children starting as young as 5. Well, today on Capitol Hill, the Congressional Black Caucus held a discussion about that, and actress Taraji P. Henson expressed concern for the issue when she testified before this Congressional Emergency Task Force on Black Youth Suicide and Mental Health.
It dawned on me the reason why we don't have a mini psychiatrist, not that we don't have them, that they're not easily accessible, is because we in the African American community, we don't deal with mental health issues. We don't even talk about it. We've been taught to pray our problems away. We've been demonized for coming out saying we have issues, and we have trust issues. I need the person sitting opposite from me when I go seek help for my mental to be culturally competent. And if you're not culturally competent, how can I trust you with my deepest secrets and with my vulnerability? We can't give up on our kids, and I think that's where it starts. I think we implement mental illness or mental health as education in school. It needs to be a subject, just like sex education was, a physical education. We need to talk about it. The more we talk about it, the more people will feel like they can talk about it. I really don't know how to fix this problem. I just know that this suicide rate is rising. I just know the ages of the children that are committing suicide are getting younger and younger. It breaks my heart to know that 5-year-old children are contemplating life and death.
And Taraji P. Henson, through her foundation named after her father, held a conference today dealing with the whole issue of mental health. Folks, this is part of our continuing series focusing on the American worker, sponsored by the union AFS-CME. And, of course, we know this week we dealt with the death of Chef Leah Chase from New Orleans. She passed away 6 days ago, surrounded by her family. She was 96 years old. And so there's a woman who is a member of the AFS-CME union who talked about the importance of food, working for children, and, again, what you must do in the workplace in terms of gaining respect, not only people you work with, but also the respect for workers. Here is this week's American Worker segment.
A lot of the times people look at them as juvenile delinquents, but everybody has a past. Nobody's perfect. My name is Tanisha Barnes. I work at New Beginnings Department of Youth Rehabilitation Services, and I'm a cook there. At 3:15, I get up, get myself ready. I have to leave out by, no later than 4:25 to get to work. When I get to work at 5 o'clock, I cook, prepare breakfast, prepare lunch. The population is 30 males, and I just try to let them know that it's okay. We all make mistakes, but it's where you go and what you do after your mistakes to make everything better. When I cook for the kids, and they say, I know you cook this, because you cook this with love, didn't you, Ms. B? You put this love in that. Having children and then becoming a union member shows me that it's more that I could fight for, better education, better paying jobs, safety. You're helping develop something more meaningful in the workforce. I even got my kids involved. We do rallies, we do door knocks. I'm working for myself, I'm working for my children, and I just want them to be proud of me for going after what I believe in and following my dreams as I try to push them to do the same thing. I love my kids and I love the kids I serve, and I'm glad that I can go and make a positive impact on their lives every day.
All right, and we surely appreciate AFS-CME for being a huge supporter of Roland Martin Unfiltered. Now, I wasn't going to talk about this because I really don't give a damn about a lot of this silly stuff that happens on social media. I don't care about gossip. I don't care about entertainment. But I needed to deal with this, okay? So how many of y'all have seen people talking about this ridiculous image of Beyonce and Jay-Z sitting courtside at the Game 3 the other night, and the wife of one of the Warriors owners leans over and she's talking to Jay-Z, okay? This thing has gotten all crazy. It's blown up. Well, today, Beyonce's publishers had to release a statement condemning the people attacking this woman. This woman got death threats because of this whole deal. Telling the Beehive, yo, shut the hell up and calm down. But this is what bothers me the most about this, okay? Because I really don't give a damn about these stories. I really don't. I think they're stupid. I think people who engage in them are stupid. Yes, I think you're stupid. You're sitting your ass at home. You know nothing about the conversation taking place between Jay-Z, Beyonce, the wife, and the husband. You know nothing. Yet you are sitting at home assuming you know what she's talking to Jay-Z and Beyonce about. The woman says, I was asking them, what do y'all want to drink? Now let me, again, unpack it. He's the owner. She's the wife. They're guests. They're guests of them. So don't you think that if we're at a game and Rashawn or Dr. Carter or Cleo were sitting next to me, and let's say I was talking to Dr. Carter and Rashawn is sitting right here and it's loud as hell, I'm probably going to lean over to say something. But no, all of these people are losing them. And that's right. Give him the girl, give her the side eye. She talking to your man. This is stupid. This woman is in tears. She has deleted her Instagram account because she's been attacked and getting death threats and people trashing her. And why do I keep saying her? Because I'm not going to say her name. Because her name is not important. Her husband's name is not important. But at some point, I need people to shut the hell up and get on with their own damn lives and stop being so fixated over dumb shit. And that's what this is. This is stupid. Absolutely stupid. In fact, there's been more conversation about the side I lean over than what happened on the other side of the court.
There you go.
When one of the Warriors owners, who's worth $2.4 billion, pushes Kyle Lowry when he fell into the crowd. That owner, suspended by the NBA for a year, can't attend any NBA games, fined $500,000. According to some reports, he's likely going to have to sell his shares in the team. Because he shouldn't have put his hand on a ball player. When you're sitting courtside, you don't put your hands on it. But my problem is that we, as a society, are caught up in bullshit. The people who are, the amount of time, and I know somebody is sitting here saying, well, you're spending time on this. Yes, to tell y'all, shut the hell up. Stop wasting, it's dumb. Death threats?
Roland.
Because she leaned the hell over to talk to Jay-Z. Really? Really? What?
Okay, I knew nothing about this incident at all. Somehow it got past my radar. But are you telling me that people in the so-called Beehive saw a woman talking to Jay-Z and got mad and made some projections on what she might have been saying to Jay-Z and started a viral conversation about from the Beehivers?
Dr. Carter, you want to take this one?
Is that what happened?
In a nutshell, I mean,
Nut is a figure of speech.
I mean, I'm like you. I didn't understand what that people saw in an exchange between grown people at a basketball game.
Grown people.
But these are the Beehivers. That's what I want to make. These are the Beehivers.
These are
well,
extreme
come on
fans.
now. Beehivers are.
And there are people who I know.
Oh, goodness.
People who are smart, educated, who got their ass caught up in this stupid ass story as well.
I'm a fan, but that's that woman's husband. Let her worry about that conversation. Like, what does this have to do with me?
But here's the deal. Here's what gets me. Didn't the same Beyonce do a song talking about Becky with the good hair? And didn't he turn around and do a song talking about him being with Becky with the good hair?
Really?
And y'all caught up?
Look,
and trying to figure out what was being said on the sideline by 4 rich people.
I was saying, these people are still married, so whatever problems they've had, they've monetized those and worked it out, and he's a billionaire, and she's wearing $10,000 worth of clothes.
See, again,
I can't be bothered by what's happening in their life.
People are irrational about it. They're irrational.
I mean, I think that's what's key. Like there are 2 things that popped out to me. First, that we paid more attention to this particular situation than we did what happened to Kyle Lowry.
Let me be real clear. I'm going to show you. First of all, this is, y'all, this the photo. This is from the NBC News website. Y'all, this the photo. I think it might be another one. This is what, now we probably going to get flagged. If we get flagged by you, this, but I'm playing this from Twitter. Y'all, this the conversation. They were like, oh, she was all leaning in her space. Why is she leaning in her space talking to Jay-Z? Look at the side eye she gave her. Y'all, that looks changed. That's what caused these people to lose their damn mind.
Beyonce looks like that all the time. I mean, like, it wasn't, I mean, that particular reaction is interesting to me. I think it speaks to relationship trust issues that people have.
But it's stupid people.
Yeah.
It's stupid people who, but see, this is the thing, because I'm taking the thing even larger. Because what happens is something happens, and it's the image, oh, look how he looked at her. You have no idea what was going through that person's mind, when that happened. There's no audio, nothing. But for people to go on this woman's Instagram page and literally dog her, trash her, cuss her out to the point where she had to delete the account. One person talked to her said the woman was in tears because this thing has gone all over the place. And what I'm just trying to say is I just need people to grow the hell up. And see, the reason I'm saying how we value what's important right now on our YouTube channel, 388 watching. So let me go over here to the Facebook channel. Because I'm about to make a point right here. It's 181 on the Facebook page right now. And then I'm going to go over to the Periscope channel feed right now. And we got 100 and 102. But I got about 60 there. I guarantee you that if I put in the line, we are discussing Beyonce sideline gate, numbers would have exploded.
Absolutely.
Because people care about stupid stuff. And this is stupid. And I need people to learn to stop getting sucked into stupid stuff. That's why, just so y'all know, okay? Y'all ain't never seen on this show me talking about so-and-so just broke up. Because I don't give a damn who you dating. So-and-so just got engaged. Okay, great. I don't care.
But are you in the Beehive?
I ain't talking about the Beehive. I'm broadening this thing. I'm broadening this thing.
Beehive people are obsessed, and they don't want her garment to be soiled.
It's the same as the Mariah. I just said about Mariah Carey one night. All her folks lost their mind. I was like, oh, y'all can go to hell too. I told them on Twitter. And look, here's what I'm telling you. I don't care if y'all come, if you gay and you come out, that's your business. If you have a baby, that's your business. Wasting valuable time on petty, insignificant, personal stuff. If you want to watch E! News, you want to watch the rest of those shows for it, go right ahead. But literally, the amount of stuff that exists, I can't even put all the stuff in a show that I want to put in a show because of the amount of time.
Right.
And I'm just saying, if you a mama or uncle or aunt or you a daddy or if you got a family member calling that, you say, your ass stupid for wasting all this damn time on that. And somebody got to go ahead. Somebody got to just say it.
Right, and also the time that they spent retweeting and tweeting about this story, they could have supported Samaria Rice.
It's Beyonce.
Right, and they could have filled out a petition. That
hold up. But even if you ain't want to do all that, just shut the hell up.
Well, that's also free.
I mean, I literally can't imagine going to the Instagram feed of somebody.
Right, some stranger.
And cussing them out.
And I hope you die and all this other nonsense.
Cussing a stranger out who invited them to the game.
Over people you don't know.
Because Beyonce and Jay-Z ain't season ticket holders of the Warriors.
But you
They
also
were
don't know.
invited by the two people who was talking to them. Let me let y'all know something right now. Roland got some courtside seats, and I invite Beyonce and Jay-Z. Y'all kiss my ass. I'ma talk to them. Okay? I'ma lean the hell over. We gonna talk to them. I don't give a damn what none of y'all gotta say. But it's childish and petty. So clearly, I'm sorry. I said I was not gonna discuss it. But I need to discuss that because sometimes we need to tell our own people, stop doing stupid stuff. And this to me is stupid. Now, was also stupid, all y'all dumbasses who get on airplanes and put your damn feet on the seat with somebody sitting right there. Keep your damn feet in your damn shoes. Anybody trying to smell your funky ass feet? This happened this week, and I had to play it.
Stick your feet behind me. I think. It's a lady. Oh, somebody on my feet behind me.
Flight attendants, please be seated for departure.
I thought you had my feet, your feet behind me.
The daddy was cracking up laughing. The boy like, why somebody got their feet behind me? That's why I love kids.
Yeah. And keep it honest. I mean, kids keep it honest. They tell it like it is. And what's important is they typically say things that as adults we should say to other people before things escalate. Because it was kind of simple. He was like, who is his foot? Whose foot is this behind me? It's a lady. So he's shocked that it's a grown person having the audacity to do that. And people invade people's personal space all the time on planes. You know, like there was a debate on Twitter about who gets the armrest. Does the person in the middle get the two armrests, and the people on the outside get the two on the outside? I mean, these
or the
are
black
the types
person or the
of
white
things-
person.
Huh?
I be doing this with the white guy all the time. Trying to push me over.
You know, but I think the honesty of kids is what's highlighted here. And I think it's important that I think oftentimes, as we get socialized throughout life, there are certain things that we would normally have done as children that we don't do anymore. And I think we can learn a lot from kids who choose to engage things this way.
Why did he say?
I would have cussed the ass out.
Why did he say it's a lady? Yeah,
Because he was shocked that it was an adult.
No, I think he was shocked that it was an adult lady.
Right. He thought it was
a kid. A dude put that big old foot up there, probably would have been not surprising him, but that it was a woman seemed to stand out for him.
I've seen this behavior before, and I'm sorry, people's lack of respect for other people's personal space and what they want to experience. I've seen people clip their nails on the plane, and I think that's disgusting. I don't want your DNA with me when I go home. And he did what he ought to do. What I would have done is like, can you please move your foot?
No.
Well, she did move.
She did because she was shamed, not because she thought it was a problem.
You way too nice. See,
I
right there, y'all. What you have said?
Would you please move your feet?
Hey, y'all. Let me tell you how that would have went down. Henry, don't switch to them. Stay right here. Stay right here. I'm directing the damn show. Stay right here. We on the plane. Hey! Foot would have moved. I wouldn't even have to get out of my mouth.
Right.
Could you please move your foot? It would have been, hey! That's all that would have happened. Right. Matter of fact, they would have heard C-32A. Hey! That's what would have happened. I'm just letting you know. That's what would have happened.
I hear you.
You putting your funky ass foot next to my chair, yeah.
And why that's okay behavior, why no one on the plane, not even the flight attendant said, ma'am, you can put your foot on. And also, if the plane is dirty, I wish I would take my shoe off on the plane.
Y'all snobs.
I mean, it's so disrespectful.
It's nasty.
It's so disrespectful.
It's nasty.
Now, if you got socks on, it's a long flight.
Listen,
that becomes slightly different.
Let me also help y'all out. Okay, as look, I'm Premier 1K on United. I'm on all of black. So okay, 3-seat, but also a 2-seat. Let me help y'all out. There's a trick. Okay, you ain't got to fight over that damn armrest. Okay, when you're seated in the aisle seat, it's tight because you fighting I ain't sitting by the window in a 3-seat. That ain't gonna happen. Only way that's gonna happen if it was a last minute. I ain't got no other choice. So here's the deal, y'all. Most of y'all don't even realize this here. Aisle seats.
Yep.
There is a button under the armrest on the aisle seat that lifts the armrest up. So all you gotta do is lift that, turn, and then you just turn to the aisle. You can have all this free space, whatever. Now when they come with the cart and everything, you just slide your behind back. I'm just saying, I don't even, like I was on a plane, the dude look at me like, how the hell did he just, y'all, seriously, y'all think I'm like, some of y'all at home right now going, huh? Seriously, there's a button, slide your hand to the back of the armrest. Cleo like, damn, I didn't know.
Oh, yes, I'm an aisle person.
You an aisle person?
But the aisle.
Yeah, me too.
You an aisle person?
All about that.
Right.
Gotta have the aisle.
The only reason I knew that is because one day I couldn't fly first class because first class was full. And then I remember that story. I was like, hold up, I got that button. So there's a button. Y'all got to click the button, armrest come up. Yo, you got freedom. You turn this way. But we ain't sitting here fighting them. But see, this is what also I do. I intimidate folks. Just put the damn armrest up. And then when they try to pull it down, hell, your arm on this head. No, it ain't coming down. So it's gonna be free. We ain't fighting over the armrest. It's gonna be free damn space.
Yep.
We ain't
gonna
fighting,
get real close.
We ain't fighting over the armrest.
That's one of the things I like about Southwest, because when I get on the aisle, right, and people are coming in, they just go straight past me because they typically don't want to sit by me, right? And so, but if I'm flying on another airline, I'm definitely trying to get an aisle seat, and I'm definitely lifting the aisle armrest up.
Put your funky foot up, we got a problem. All right, y'all, last story here. 1964, professional golfer Pete Brown became the first African-American to win a PGA-sanctioned tournament. The Waco Turner Open took place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Pete's golfing career began by playing in a tournament hosted by the United Golf Association, an organization formed by a group of African-American golfers who operated a series of professional golf tournaments for blacks during the era of racial segregation in America. One of the folks, of course, who was behind that was the great boxer, the Brown Bomber. Who was that? What you got? Y'all live in
Joe Louis.
Joe Louis. All right. At that time, blacks could not play in the PGA-sanctioned tournaments due to the Caucasian-only clause of the PGA. Well, fast forward today, the Pete Brown Golf Facility will honor him by renaming a course after him. Of course, Pete died a couple of years ago, and so it's certainly an honor. All right, y'all. Last comment here. Final comment. Anything you want to say? Anything happened this week? What you got? Go.
Well, I just want to go back to the mental health issue, if I can, for a moment here, because I have some concerns.
A quick moment.
A quick moment.
Let's call a fight on wrap up
19
thought.
years ago, Dr. Alvin Poussant and I were on a panel for the National Association for Equal Opportunity in Higher Education in 2001. He had a book that he put out called Lay My Burden Down, which was about African-American suicides. And it was about it being high and disproportionate back then. And then it went silent. I just hope that Taraji's activity does not do the same thing, because if we would have did something back then, when Poussant put his book out, we might not be looking at this issue like we're looking at it now. And we tend to get fired up for a moment around issues that affect us, then we go back into the trance.
All right.
Yeah. I would just say that we can actually do multiple things at the same time, right? We can actually pat our head and rub our tummy. So we can watch the gossip, but don't forget to keep your eye on what's happening with your government in your local communities, in your state, because that is vital. We are looking at a president right now that is a criminal in so many ways. We are looking at state governments like North Carolina, like Georgia, that are trying to steal your rights. So while you're paying attention to Beyonce and Jay-Z, make sure you are also looking at what's happening in your community, because that's actually going to affect your life. Those people will be rich tomorrow when you wake up and you still won't know them.
You know, one of the segments you highlighted was about work, and the big thing that stood out to me was about rehabilitation. And part of that is that Flick Shop School of Business has been starting to do a lot of work using virtual reality to help train incarcerated people for when they get out. Because if we link the cannabis story with the work story, part of what's happening now is that cannabis is an example where we continue to see another example of where black people have gotten screwed over, not just financially, but legally, and a lot of other people are starting to make a lot of money. So that's why I was happy to see these sisters on this show talking about that, because we need to change the laws to actually make things legal across the country, and then we need to actually do some reform with individuals who are in prison. We're developing a virtual reality program for job training, onboarding people when they get out of prison, and I think these particular things are important because we don't want to see the recidivism rate continue to rise.
All right, folks, my final comment. We have surpassed 2,000 folks who have joined our Bring the Funk fan club, 2,022 to be exact. We launched this show 9 months ago. Anniversary was a couple of days ago. We launched this on September 4th, 2018. 2018, of course, and now it is June 7th, 2019. Now, we certainly appreciate every single person who's contributed. Our goal was to have 20,000 of our supporters give at least $50 a year to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Those of you who have joined our fan club, you have a discount code for products that we have on RolandSMartin.com, including books, and we're going to be adding some other things as well. Why is this important? Because this week was a perfect example. We did the 2.5-hour show on Wednesday, celebrating the life of Leah Chase, of course, who passed away, the great chef out of New Orleans. Next week, on Wednesday, we're going to be in Miami for the American Black Film Festival. Shaft is premiering. We're going to be there, but also we're going to be talking to a number of up-and-coming directors. Because, see, guess what? The John Singletons, the Will Packers, they were able to go to ABFF and actually learn their craft and get lots of connections. I'm going to be moderating a Q&A with Reggie Hutland about his new Netflix documentary, The Godfather, which is on now, talking about Clarence Avant, of course, who was involved in the music industry, but also in Hollywood and the civil rights industry as well, plus in politics. And also, we'll be at New Orleans for Essence Music Festival, but also traveling in other parts around the country. You have NAACP convention in July. You have the National Urban League taking place, National Dental Association here in D.C. In fact, June 18th, we're going to be live streaming a summit dealing with the United States Census, its impact on African Americans. Why am I saying all of that? Because the reality is there's no other show in the digital space like this. None. You can try to find it, don't exist. There are people who have shows, but are they doing full-fledged 1-hour news shows every single day? No. Are they doing live streaming of summits, of conferences, of rallies, things along those lines? They are not. Also, you take that with our 1-hour interviews. And so we're doing a hell of a whole lot with not much. And the reason I say that's also critically important because we love to talk about what we need, but somebody has to build it. Somebody actually has to build it. Okay, Ebony Magazine didn't just all of a sudden just happen. No, it was built by John H. Johnson, taking a loan from his mother, bargaining against her furniture to start the magazine, to start Negro Digest, to start Jet Magazine. When you look at all of these companies, that's what it requires. We've been going for 9 months. I haven't paid myself a salary because we're trying to keep the doors open and pay staff. And so we can't talk about why we don't get our stuff covered when we don't have the platforms to actually do it. So we want you to join our fan club to help us do that. We're talking about, if you gave $50 in a year, that's folks about $4 a month, 13 cents a day. And I can tell you the conversations that we have are a hell of a lot more vibrant than what you're paying $200 a month for watching on those cable networks. And so we want you to support us, and we want you to do it today. And so this month, my goal is to get us 1,000 new fan club members in the month of June. You can sign up right now by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can go to, you can do so with PayPal, Square, or even Cash App. If you do use Cash App, be sure to put your email down so we can send you the promo code. So we certainly would greatly appreciate that. Again, tomorrow I go to North Carolina. Reverend Dr. William Barber, his mom retires. 53 years of service. And so we're going to be in North Carolina celebrating her. He hit me up. He was there, man, you got to come. He was leaning on that Alpha Shield, trying to get me to come to North Carolina. Here we go to my iPad. This is the program here for his mother. It's taking place Saturday, June 8th. So 4 p.m., Plymouth High School Gymnasium, community celebration of music and arts honoring Mrs. Eleanor Barber for her retirement and 53 years of service. And so we are looking forward to that. Greenlee. So y'all can also tell everybody know where this is because he sent the fly. They ain't even put the town. It's in North Carolina. They ain't even put the town on here. Plymouth High School Gymtorium. Y'all know what that means? I'm going to Plymouth, North Carolina. That's probably where I'm going. And he told me, he said, Roland, you coming to the country. He said, you coming to the country. And so, again, I'm going to be there tomorrow. And so we'll certainly look forward to it. Folks, we hope you'll have a great weekend. We're going to close the show out, of course, playing for you all the folks who've given to our fan club. And I appreciate every single one of you because your dollars makes this show possible and makes it possible for us to do what we do. And so I shall see you on Monday. Holla! You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Hey fam, want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? The blackest show on all of digital, cable, and broadcast. Check out our audio podcast. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Press play. You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.